Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Music Lab podcast. My name is Dogg, and I'm so excited to be back with all of you with another episode of the podcast. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our social media pages. That helps us and helps the bands like Ryan and the K's. Also, check out our sponsor, RAR Outfitters. That's RAWR, outfitters.com. Don't just wear, RAR. So, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from jolly old England, Mr. Ryan from the K's. How are you, my friend?
I'm all good, mate. I'm bouncing. How are you?
Much better than you were at South by last year, right?
Yeah, you heard the story. I wasn't too good at South by.
So we found out about these guys at South by Southwest last year. We featured them on our Road to South by series. We got to see them at the British Music Exchange or Embassy, whatever they call it. And you said, yeah, you were sick as a dog. The plane ride was awful. Tell the audience about your first South by.
Yeah, so I think we was playing like Portsmouth in England the day before, and the bus dropped us off at the airport in London, and me and the tour manager just come down with this flu, and we just felt fucking awful. Like I was spewing up, I was throwing up, and then I was sweating, I was aching, I was sneezing, and luckily the plane was quite empty on the way to Texas, so I kind of had three seats to myself, so I could kind of lie down and curl myself up, but the lads kept coming over and checking on me, checking I was alive all the way there, but yeah, and then we got off and I couldn't shake it. I had like 3 or 4 days of I'd play the show and then I'd get back in bed like in South by, and all the lads are going and enjoying the festival. But halfway through the trip, I kind of come round and I got to enjoy and see Austin and things like that. So yeah, it was all good. It was all good by the end, but oh man, I was fucking bad at the start.
So, what other bands then did you see while you were there that kind of impressed you once you were able to get out? Do you remember
Well,
anyone?
as I said, I missed quite a bit of it because of the flu. But I know the lads went out to see a few. We went and watched John Fogerty at Stubbs. Is it Stubbs? Yeah, that's the venue. That's like one of the very few shows that I actually went out to like be able to see because it was towards the end of the trip, and that blew me away because I was a massive Creedence fan, and I still am a massive Creedence fan. So that was surreal seeing that kind of there. But yeah, there was loads of good acts on. The lads said that they watched a few bands from England and different places around Europe, and yeah, they really dug it. The festival's great. All the venues are vibing, and there's just music out of every single window.
Yeah, I mean, we were there 6 nights this year. We saw exactly 40 bands.
Really?
Yeah. So
Oh,
that
amazing. So your
yeah, it
ears must
was
be.
we I think only two of the nights we got to bed before 1 a.m.
Really?
Yeah, we went pretty hard. And it really not a lot of drinking. It was just a lot of music and a lot
Yeah,
because it was
yeah.
it was condensed this year. It wasn't like 10 days. It was only 7 days. So
Oh,
like
was
they
it?
kind of combined everything. So like a lot of things that we would miss like in the past, we got to do because everything was combined. It was kind of nice.
There was some stages shut, wasn't there, because of the weather or something?
Yeah, the Tune Yards, their concert
Yeah.
got postponed because dude, the weather was crazy down there, man. We we pretty much experienced all 4 seasons in like the six
Really?
days we were there. Yeah. Sunday it
We,
was 95 degrees and we woke up Monday morning and it was 42.
oh my God. So we was in New York, as you know, and then we flew back. Some of the band flew back, and the management, our manager flew to. He actually flew home for a day, and then got back on a flight to Austin and enjoyed South by. So he said he was texting us whilst he was there, and he said some of the stages had closed towards the end, or some of the acts got to miss a few of the sets. So I was gutted for the acts because you make the journey and you're really excited to play and showcase, and then unfortunately you can't control the weather though.
Yeah. No, yeah, and usually, I mean, usually for South by like March down there, it's usually pretty calm. Like, I mean, you'll get like at least 1 day of rain, but like, yeah, it was very odd weather this year. So, but let's talk about New Colossus, man, because you guys, we got to see you there. That's your first time playing in New York City. Talk about that experience. Talk about that festival.
The first time, well, playing in the city, but also being in the city, it was like we got told before we got on the plane, like, oh, you'll go there and you'll fall in love with it, and you won't want to come home, and you'll want to live there. And we was like, yeah, we've been to loads of cities, and then we got there and oh man, I would move there tomorrow. It was so good. It's like it was one of the best places we've been, and like obviously the famous landmarks, and you see it in movies in England, stuff like that. We see it from afar. Not many people get to go, so that was really good, like on a personal level, and everyone kind of felt the same. But then to play there, to be playing your songs in New York City, it was like, what is going on? So, and people actually like came out to watch us and knew us and stuff. So it was a proper buzz, and there was all buzzers around the venue, a bit like South by. There was like music out a lot to do, like every window and different venues, and you go and see different bands, and it was just a really, really cool vibe.
Yeah, I mean, cool enough that you have the poster behind you, right?
Got the poster in my little studio at home. Yeah, I've got the piano's showroom. I just seen it on the wall. Well, just before we was walking on, I said to the tour manager, "Can you get me that? Because I want to take it home." The artwork's so cool. So yeah, I've just kitted out. I've just built a little new studio, so I'm kitting it out in a minute. So I thought, right, that can be the first one up.
So our audience sees all of these guitars. What do we have a favorite?
um, I love this new Gretsch that I got. I've just been playing it this morning. That's why it's out. But yeah, one my agent got me bought a present for me and brought this new Gretsch Falcon. So that's the one I'm playing at the minute. But yeah, I've got my Gibson 355 here and a couple of tellies and strats up that I just keep sort of rotating between. I like having one of each at home because in case a different sound, different idea, and just kind of able to jump on them at any time.
So when you're writing songs, do you typically write them on the guitar or do you also write them on the piano?
No, I like to play on the piano as well. There was a track on the first album, Valley One, that was just playing, messing about on the piano, and that actually came during COVID. So yeah, I like kind of mixing it up. I love the piano. I only got into the piano after the guitar, but I actually was forced into learning the piano because my brother's band needed a piano player for their Who tour in America. They were supporting the Who around America, so that's when I went out and bought a piano to session musician for them before the case. So that's how it kind of came about.
So who's your brother's band?
They were called Sly Diggs. Having a little break at the minute, but yeah, that was the reason for getting the piano. And then I just love the piano. Like I think there are a lot when you're writing certain things or when you're coming up with certain melodies, you can get a lot more out of the piano. You can see it visually. I don't know. I like diving between the two.
Yeah, I've heard that from many artists. Like
Yeah,
they prefer they don't necessarily prefer the piano over the guitar, but it just seems like they get more songs out of the piano, or it just like songs become, I guess, constructed maybe like quicker. Does that make sense? Or,
yeah. I suppose when you're playing things, you play things a little bit differently on the piano, or you come up with like, yeah, new voicings or new melodies. I think
yeah.
sometimes it just adds something else and takes you in a different direction that you wouldn't normally get on a guitar, and vice versa as well. So I guess they
So
both have a
when
bit.
when you are writing songs, then are you typically then music first and then lyrics, or lyrics first and then music?
Um, well, a little bit of both. If I have like a riff or something like that, then I give it to like we bring it into the room, and then Jamie would take it away. Like Hometown on album one was like a riff that I had, and then that started with that riff, and then Jamie wrote a song around it with lyrics and a couple of added chords. So I think it kind of works both ways. Or like Jamie might have like a list of lyrics, and we'll go through them, and then he'll put like a basic structure like a skeleton together, and then we'll all add the music to it. So I think it's a little bit of work. Sometimes both works both ways.
Yeah. So, with the guitars, it just it keeps reminding me of your song Aurora. Talk
Yes.
about like that song is such a punch in the face. Like you just want to crank it up really loud. Like talk about like how that song came about and like that
Well,
the last 40 like the last minute of that song is just it's so good.
yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so Jamie had this like the intro and the chorus and stuff and the verses, and then we were just playing around with it in the room, and we just said, right, let's just fucking go like get a bit of an outro for it, and that just kind of came out. Um, Jord, the previous drummer, sort of added a section to it, and then I added the guitar on it, and we played it live once, and everyone went fucking mental, and we was like, right, this is the next single, and it kind of picked itself from that. So yeah, we just kind of let loose with it a little bit and seen what come out, and we really liked it.
So why do you think Sarajevo was such a hit for you guys? What like why did that connect with your fans?
Well, that was the first. So we got together in like 2017, and me and Jamie would were in different bands. As I said, I was playing with my brother's band, and I was in another one as well in like a local band. And then Jamie was playing in the cage with Dexter, and then it kind of we weren't really doing anything like actively at that point. And then we went out on different nights out, me and Jamie, and then we met at an after party in a house in Earlsdown. And we was in the kitchen and we were just chatting away after a few beers, and like we made a drunken promise to kind of start a band, like, well, not start the band, but like get it back going again. So the next week I took my guitar into a little rehearsal room in Earlsdown, and like we had to book it like back then, and it was like we booked 4 hours or something like that. And we just we just came out with that. We just by the time we finished the booking slot, we had Sarajevo, and then we released it, and we thought, why not? Let's just release it. So we paid I don't know, it was like £7 or something. Put it on Spotify ourselves, and then it just like blew up. And I went out on my birthday like a couple of months after. I went into a bar in Manchester and it was on, and that was like surreal at that point. We was like, fucking hell, the bar song's on. Like, how has this happened? And I think like Spotify picked it up, put it on a playlist, and then other people picked it up, and it just kind of circulated around England, and everyone jumped on it, and we was like, we weren't expecting it. We was expecting people to think, ah, fuck, it's a load of shit. But yeah, people really, really liked it. So it was like, oh, we've actually got a bit of a short list. Let's do another one. And that's how it kind of followed suit.
That's correct. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, because you said, I mean, you guys started in 2017, but you didn't
Yeah.
release your album until 2024. Like, talk about that journey, because again, like we talked about before we started, that's not really typical of most bands. Like they release an
No.
album, within the 7 years of them being together, right?
Yeah, so we just did. I think a lot of bands at that point was just releasing singles, and I think it kind of came back. We were just releasing singles, we were just writing songs, and we didn't really have any like I suppose structure. And obviously, we had a few offers in and things like that, and we was just about to sign an offer before COVID hit, and then COVID hit, and then it got postponed. And I think that well, everything got postponed in any walk of life, not just being in the band, but. I think COVID definitely added to it like a couple of years. That wiped that period out. But beforehand, we were just into like releasing singles, and then we kind of waited for the right moment. And people were loving the crowds were getting bigger. Like we were selling tickets, like organically, the fan base was growing. And we just kept the live scene up, and we didn't really think about. We obviously thought about an album, but we just thought when the time's right, when the offer's right, when the team's right, when we just kind of waited for that moment in time, and then it came on album one just before we released it. We signed a deal with Lab Records in Manchester, and everything felt right at that moment in time. So it kind of all just fell into place, and we thought, right. And a lot of the songs were already out in the world. Like I think 5 or 6 of them was already out, so
Yeah.
people already loved them. But I think we had all that time to make sure that we wanted it to sound right and the album was right, and all them sort of initial K songs were on the album, and everybody seemed to love it. So that was kind of the process. And obviously, as I said a minute ago, COVID had a big impact on it.
So with 5 or 6 of those songs already being played, was it difficult to try and come up with the track listing for that album then?
Yeah, because we had other songs that didn't make the cut. We had a deluxe album that came out with the likes of Just for Today and Dacton and things like that on it. So, but it was hard to whittle it down because there's fan favorites that didn't make it. Like Sarajevo wasn't on the initial album. Do you know what I mean? On album one, so that was the biggest single that we'd done. So it was kind of we whittled it down to one like to make people want to hear the album and think it's something new as well, as opposed to just putting everything that's out already on it. You've kind of got to balance it. So yeah, it did make it a little bit difficult, but we feel that in the end the track listing was right.
Yeah. So it debuts at number 3 on the British charts. When
Yeah.
you get that news, are you as shocked as Sarajevo's success, or were you more shocked at this?
More shocked. It was fucking like because we was up against obviously the Libertines got the number one, and then Beyonce was number. It was the Libertines, and then we was number two for 6 days or 5 or 6 days, and then on the last day Beyonce just took us over and got the second spot, and we got third. But just to say you're up against those names actually is like it's just an insane thing to even try and comprehend. But then to secure the number three as well with all those artists below us, it was a massive, massive achievement, and it's nothing to be sniffed at. Like we was absolutely buzzing with that. We was like top three. We couldn't believe it. Debut album. That's like a dream for any band. But yeah, we was out doing the outstores and the signings and stuff like that. So we was getting updates as we was out and about doing it, and it was like, ah, fuck, still at number two. Let's keep going, kind of thing. So yeah, it was exciting, and we was buzzing to get number three.
So in America, like our radio stations, it's pretty much now a conglomeration. iHeartRadio pretty much owns almost all of the radio stations.
Yeah.
What is it like in England? Like, what is radio like? Is it hard to get like indie bands on the radio, or are there like certain stations that like, kind of promote that kind of music?
Yeah, so there is certain stations. There's like Radio X, XS Manchester. There's certain stations that we do. We've been into the studios. We've done
Okay.
interviews with the presenters. We get on with them really well, and they promote our music. And then there's obviously other radio stations like BBC Radio One, which I've got on board, and they're doing brilliant with us now. BBC Two, Radio Three. There's lots of different stations, and I guess the certain genres fit certain radio stations. Like I suppose in any country, I'm sure that that's the kind of same. But yeah, they're supportive, and we get great support from them.
So I've also heard though from a lot of British bands that touring in England is tough and that they usually do better not only like with crowds but also financially if they go to other like do like France or do Germany or do stuff like
Yeah.
that. Talk about that, or have you guys experienced that at all when you were starting out?
It is difficult. It is very, very difficult because I think, and nowadays a lot of grassroots venues are closing down, and it's a big shame because we're doing a lot of, well, we're flying the flag where we can and helping out with certain charity shows and stuff to save venues because the first venue that the K's ever played in 2017, we played a David Bowie tribute night at Sound Control in Manchester, and it's been knocked down now, and it's a block of flats because the developers got it, knocked it down, and it had so much history with the music culture, and it shaped Manchester music in so many ways. So I think it's difficult in that regard because the venues aren't there as much. However, there is a lot of venues still there, and there's people like this feeling who helped us get out of the Northwest and get on our first tour. They give us our first show in London, and there is promoters out there which are helping kind of bands starting out. But we did it like our first show was in Manchester, as I just said, and then we thought, right, a lot of people turned up. So we'll do another show at Jimmy's, which was also now closed, ironically. But that was like 90, oh no, I think it was like 120 tickets or something like that. So we used to go around and sell tickets. Like we had the physical tickets, so we'd all drive around to the pub selling them. Go on, do you want to buy a ticket, five or ten, or that? And we'd flog them that way, like back in the days. And that was kind of the exciting thing as well to be doing that. But we sold that out, and then that because so many people turned up, they had to reduce the cap of the venue because so many people turned up. Now it's only a 90 cap. Well, it was before it shut down, and then we just kept doubling it in Manchester. So we got to a point where we were selling like 500 tickets maybe in Manchester on our own, which was great. And then once we got to that level, we went right. The promoter of this feeling give us a show in London, and then we kind of tried to knit them cities together. So, but going back to the financial side of it is really difficult because you've got to, when you're starting out, you don't get, obviously, there's not that much money in getting paid for gigs. And when say, if there's 10 bands on, then they're not going to pay all the 10 bands. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of the time, you're paying out your own pocket to go and hire a van and get your equipment and go down, get your petrol and go down south and drive to it and get a hotel. So you're paying for it a lot on your own at the start, which is obviously why it's so difficult. You're trying to find money, and we don't have, we're all kind of working class lads in a working class town. We don't have a lot of money, so we came up with tried to come up with creative ways on making it work, and hope like luckily we stuck at it, and it's kind of slowly paying off where we're being able to finance tours now, and like and get and sort of come out not in a loss all the time. But Europe's another kettle of fish altogether because obviously the UK was selling a lot of tickets, and that's why that helps finance the tours. But also, it like finances being able to go to Europe because you're kind of in territories that you've never been before, or you're not that well known, or you kind of starting a little bit lower down, so you're having to build again. So it's a constant game of building them territories and trying to just keep kind of like be in a position where you can keep doing it and not run yourself into the ground. But it is difficult. It's very difficult.
So I know for most bands, social media is, the bane of their existence. How do you guys use social media to connect with your fans
I
and
hear you on that. I hear you on that. No, it's key. Obviously, social media is key now in so many different businesses, but you've got it's just an instant way to be connected with your audience. If you're not on stage in front of them, then you can just post something online or social media, and it keeps that kind of fan engagement and interest going, and it keeps everybody up to date with where we're playing, or if tickets are still available for certain things, or we're releasing a single, or just even like a day in a life on tour, a bit of like content around the band so people can get to know the band a little bit more that they don't necessarily see on stage. You can put things out where people can see different angles of what it's like being in a band as opposed to just that hour on stage or that half hour on stage. So it is key to staying connected with your fan base, definitely. And we like staying in contact with everybody. Do you know what I mean? We don't want to just shut everyone out. We want everyone to be involved in everything all the time. So
yeah.
yeah.
It is such a balance though, like between, it being an art and then it being a commodity, because
Oh no, we're rubbish. We're fucking rubbish at it as well. So it's like it is an art because you kind of we're not social media like we're not. I don't know what the correct phrase is to say. Like we're not just in it for social media. Do you know what I mean? Social media is a tool to use or like a thing to keep people updated. Whereas what we're good at and what we're like, the reason you're in a band is to go on stage and play. Do you know what I mean? Or like make music. So it's kind of an add-on that you've got to adapt to, and it is a fine line, like you say, on becoming like a social media type band or like a band who gets on stage.
yeah. So what is it like now to have kind of a team around you, where you guys were basically just doing it all on your own. Now you've kind of gotten to this level where you have a team. Like, is that like for you guys, is that sort of like like I'd really like to just do this on our own, or you guys kind of embrace that?
No, we definitely embrace it now. Like we've had different people along the way, and as I said, like things come and go, ideas come and go, people come and go, whatever. But we've got to a point now where the team around us, we're absolutely buzzing with it. It's brilliant. It's like such a supportive network, and they're great because we have like creative like control over things, and they let us be a band, and but then they're also picking up the things that we don't want to do. Like they're doing all the things behind the scenes that, as you just said, like we had to try and manage. Obviously, not on this level now, but starting out, it just takes that off you, so you can be a guitarist, you can be a writer, you can be a singer, you can be a player. Do you know what I mean? You can be a band member as opposed to like having to deal with shit that do you know what I mean? That just takes all your time away. So it frees us up to do the thing that we love, like writing and playing music. And we obviously couldn't do any of it now without that team around us at the minute. So
Yeah.
we're buzzing with the team around us. It is definitely like we couldn't do it on our own then.
Do you think that's why you were able to release the second album as quick as you did?
Yeah, so that was quite a tight turnaround that they give us. And it was very hard. It was hard because we was in the height of touring season. We got told about it. I think the first conversations were like summertime-ish, just before summer. And then so we was doing every single festival around England and Europe, in Spain, Italy, France, Germany, UK. So like amongst all that, any days at home, we was in our little. We've got like a studio, recording studio. So we were just in there, kind of trying to finish songs off, and then the next day you'd be back out, and it's quite hard to get in that mental state of mind because you're either like you're in the creative process where you're trying to write an album and trying to finish songs, and then you're also on the next day you're on stage, so you're in the live touring environment. So there was a lot of like of switching mentally as well as physically. So. But yeah, it did help having that team around us because there was so many moving cogs to get that album finished and recorded first of all, but then obviously the promo around it, the artwork, the release dates, the structure, the in stores, out stores, variants, just all kinds of stuff. So yeah, our heads fell off enough without our team. So that's off to the team.
And it's called Pretty on the Internet.
Yeah.
Any reason? Like, what was the
Uh,
inspiration behind that?
so we had a list of different ideas, and we went with that one. We all love that one. It's a lyric out of one of the songs on the album, and that song was actually meant to be on album one, but it just wasn't ready in time. So, and the line before that in the song is "I wonder if the world knows," the title of the first album. So we kind of just played on that idea a little bit, and yeah, I think there's various meanings, but I like people to kind of take their own like take on it and like impersonation because I think pretty on the internet can mean so many things, like pretty on the internet, but in reality, it's not always like that. You know. So I think and the songs relate to that. So yeah, it was the final choice that we all loved.
Yeah, yeah. So of the bands that you've like either been with at these festivals in the past year or that you've toured with, is there any band or any like conversation that you've had from one of them or from multiple of them that like that's really inspired you or that you've really kind of taken to heart?
Um, I'm not too sure. The Kooks tour that we just did, they did an arena tour in England. They were great with us. They were really, really good. And I think seeing they've obviously been doing it a lot longer than us, and seeing the level that they're at now doing arena tours and kind of seeing the fan base that they had back then, but also now is like it's the new generation, but it's still got the same fan. They still got the same love for the band. That's kind of inspiring to think like we could do that. We could do an arena tour, and then hopefully in 20 years' time, like the new generation would still like our music. So, and they were really, really, really nice to us. Like they'd stop and chat with us, and we'd have a drink with us, and we'd do all kinds of stuff together. So that was kind of inspiring because I think it was a little bit of obviously knowledge that they took over the years, but then think we could do that in 20 years as well. We could be, do you know what I mean? We could be there, and we could still be, people would still be loving the music.
So the artwork, you talked about that briefly. Like how important is the artwork for the album to you guys as a band? And was that a discussion about this for this album?
Yeah, it kind of just fell together on a few ideas that we were knocking about. We kind of had a Pinterest board set up and then different ideas and different mood boards and things, and we all just kind of collaboratively brought them together. And I think we kept the same theme with the pink and then a different image per song, just to kind of have it cohesive. And I think it is important because it's before you listen to the music, it's the first thing you see, and I think a little bit of it gives you instantly if you see something like a piece of artwork, or at least I do, you get a vibe on it before you even listen to it. So I think you take something away. It's like the first impressions thing. So yeah, I think it is important to get it right.
And I think that bands that don't do that really miss out. Like,
Yeah, it's
there's
such a
really
big
no
thing.
thought in that.
Like
Yeah.
you've got to think your vinyl's going to be on the wall, or you're going to have it in shops against all different types of all different artists and all different types of artwork. So I think it is important to kind of catch people's eye, but also just like be true to yourself and tell like give a vibe of the album before you kind of listen to it. I think
Mhm.
yeah, it's important.
So the band name, where did the band name come from?
It used to be the Kaleidoscopes, and that we always say a different story, but the real one is it used to be a kaleidoscope called the Kaleidoscopes, and that's after a record shop in St. Helens, like the next town along from us. Um, and it just got shortened down. I think like over time, people just thought the K's was easier to say, to spell. I don't know, but kaleidoscopes went to the K's, and then it used to be without the apostrophe, but then there was. I think when we first released a song, when we first registered the band, there was already a band out there called the K's with an apostrophe. So we without the apostrophe, so we added the apostrophe, and then that's where that comes from. And then now that's our kind of trademark name. So that's the story behind it.
That's great. So yeah, I mean so band like merchandise, stuff like that. Are you guys is that all your input then? Like or do you guys kind of have somebody that kind of takes the lead with that?
No, we all have input on that. So like I think it's important as well that merchandise represents the band. And like it also becomes like a bit of a brand, or like you want people walking around in your t-shirts wearing like cool t-shirts or whatever, or hoodies. And I think it's important that well, we find it important that we're involved in that. So we may come up with concept designs and oh, that'd look good in a t-shirt or a hoodie, and then we'd send it to a design team, and they would send back mock-ups, and then we'd pick it from there. So yeah, we're definitely involved in that.
Yeah. So with this new album, you did switch, or you went with a different producer. How did Jim, kind of shape this album? Because, like you said, I mean, it was kind of chaos. You're touring, you're not touring. Like, how did
Yeah.
he kind of help you with this album?
Well, he's obviously a wealth of experience and knowledge. He's done acts like Stereophonics. He worked albums with. He did like some work on a Taylor Swift track. He's done some huge names. So I think having that experience and knowledge definitely helped us and kept a calm sort of vibe. And yeah, we can do this. And what I mean, we did a bit of a structure, a plan, and we got through it. And also his knowledge and kind of input on the sound and the songs. Like he recorded in ways that we'd never recorded before, and that's not to say it's right or wrong compared to the other one. It was just a different way, and it brought a different sound, and it kind of shaped the album a little bit that way. And also his like influence on like different soundscapes and production elements to the songs
Mm.
definitely elevated the album as well. So I think having that knowledge, and he's a really cool guy. Like he was dead sound the first time we met him. I think we met him at a show that we was in London, and we had a beer with him after before we got to work together, just to kind of like put a face to the name that we'd spoke to. And he just was really laid back, cool, like bandy guy. And we thought, yeah, this is going to work, and it did, and it was great.
Yeah. So you said obviously you're not in a rush to put out another album, but like obviously the fans are always asking for more or always wanting more. Like, is
Yeah.
there like, do you kind of feel like a little bit of a pressure now to kind of produce?
Yeah, there is definitely that pressure. I think there's always that pressure for you to put stuff out and it be liked and people like want to kind of hear more. And I think we've obviously that's regardless of the chart positions of the first two albums, but with that on top and the fan base growing so rapidly, I think there is that pressure and there is that element of you've got to keep up kind of standards, but also we're taking time to be creative and not just churn out the same stuff and explore all avenues and make sure we're absolutely happy. So we're in a writing phase at the minute. So we're just going through the motions on exploring sounds and songs and different types of like themes and yeah, we're just kind of taking a little bit of time compared to album two to have a breather and explore.
Yeah. So with set lists, is that a kind of combined effort as well? Like coming up with set lists, now that you have two albums, is it a little bit more difficult to come up with a set list? Do you try and change them up each night, or how
It
does
is
that kind of
difficult.
work?
It is difficult because we've got two albums out now, and there's obviously a lot of songs that the fans love, like fan favorites that we have to drop because people seem to like a lot of the songs. So it is difficult in that respect. But I think we tailor it, we mix it up so it's not the same all the time. But if we're doing like an album playthrough, then obviously it's the album. But then like if it's a festival, you're like a daytime festival, then we'll tailor it to that. So it's like upbeat, all the big hitters, the bangers, and then like I don't know if it's a headline set, we get a little bit more time to obviously because we've got a longer set in the headline sets and we've got more control on the stage, so we can like create intimate moments with the slower songs, bring it down with the lighting, and then Jamie can perform a slower song, and then we can bring it back up with a full band. So there's a lot more control and dynamic on stage. So we do tailor it show by show, and then obviously keep it fresh. So like we might do a set for one tour, and then people keep saying, "Where's this song? Where's this song? Where's this song?" So then the next tour, we'll pull it out and like surprise people, kind of thing. We do listen as much as we can, and yeah, and we tailor it from that. So yeah, we mix it up. It's a collaborative thing, and yeah, it's what we like playing, but also what people want.
It's funny because we went to see Oasis for their reunion tour
Oh yeah,
last
we was there
year.
as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did you do Wembley?
No, we did Cardiff the opening night, and then
Wow.
that was amazing. I was like, I nearly cried my eyes out the back. But then there was we did Heaton Park the Friday at Heaton Park, which was the sun was out in Manchester. It always rains, it pisses down in Manchester, but the sun was out. Oasis were coming on, yeah, and it was just like fucking quality vibes. Everyone was just on a high. It was great.
Yeah, we saw them night two in New York City, and the one thing though that I will say, and that's why I brought this up to you, it really bothered me that they stayed with the same set list the entire tour.
Oh, really? Did they
Y-
do? Oh, yeah, yes. So they would have stayed the same, wouldn't they?
Yeah, like you knew exactly what song was
Yeah,
going to play. Like,
what was coming because you'd seen the previous gigs. That's
correct.
why Cardiff, we had no idea. Night one, we was like, "Fuck, are they going to play this? Are they going to play this?" And then yeah, they didn't disappoint. But yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so far into the tour. But I'm sure everyone was buzzing with that. I'm sure everyone was buzzing with it in New York.
Yeah. I mean, and that doesn't take away anything from the show.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
I just like advice. Like, if you ever get to that level, don't play the
It's
same set
simple.
list, man.
Keep people on the toes, all right?
Yeah,
Don't.
man. Like, even if you mix up three songs, like just mix up,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Like,
Got you.
but yeah, yeah. As they say, it was biblical.
Yeah, it was. It was. It was amazing. It was unreal to see.
So, I guess so. So now you've played all kinds of venues, right? I mean, you've played small clubs, you've played now arenas. Like, you know, is there like an ideal capacity venue, like personally for you that you like to play, or does it not matter to you?
No, I love them both. I love the big ones because it's like a moment in like we did Neighborhood. I always say this. Neighborhood was I think it was last year, or the year before, we played a big top 10. It must have been 10, 12,000 people or something there. But at one point during hoping maybe one of our tracks, I just stopped playing because I was like, the crowd just took over that much. My ears stood up and I was like, this is fucking insane. It was just like a bit of a moment on stage. And then so that's great on the bigger stages, and arenas are obviously brilliant. Like their own, everybody like the Kooks tour was fucking great. Like everyone in there knew us as well, and it was just yeah a real moment. But the intimate show when we play them big shows, and then we go back to a little intimate one, like we did Gorilla in Manchester a couple of weeks ago for War Child and the Brits Week, and I think it's sold out in like a second or something. We played it years ago. That was one of our first venues, and that was fucking awesome because like we went back to a little venue. It's just like that sweaty, intimate vibe, and do you know what I mean? The people are like there. You can fucking smell the breath in front of you, but it's fucking great at the same time. That stuff is that's probably the favorite, but the big ones are amazing. But yeah, them little intimate moments. I think that's why you do it in it, like having them kind of pinch me moments. And I don't know, yeah. Everybody in the room is just there for the same reason, and no one gives a shit about all the troubles. Everyone forgets about it for that moment.
Yeah, I think it's more for the artists that they do it for themselves. It's not for the fans. Like, Paul McCartney, he could go
Yeah,
to, the Bowery Ballroom in New York City and play, for 400
yeah,
people, like that's kind of
yeah.
it's
It's
he's
great.
enjoying that. It's not for the fans. So,
Definitely. As I said, you're closer. Usually on bigger stages, you have like a big gap, and
right.
you can connect. But I think with them intimate ones, you're right there, and it's itch in the face.
Well, you feel the energy. It is
Yeah,
a little harder to feel energy when the crowd is, 30 feet away from you with a barrier in
yeah,
front of them.
exactly.
Are you a band that likes to, for like an arena tour or like, stadium or like a festival, are you a band that like goes out to the crowd? Are you like a crowd surfing? Anybody doing that or
We used to do that all the time, but yeah, we're getting older now, so we stopped doing I'm only joking. No, we used to do that all the time, obviously at the intimate shows, but the bigger shows, it's a lot harder. So we don't really go crowd surfing as much, but we'll go onto the merch table at the end of the show and we'll say hello to everyone and sign things and get pictures and stuff. So yeah, we like to keep that connection with the crowd, but yeah, all the crowd surfing days, we've got rid of that.
so have you had any crazy like fan interactions where, someone either made you uncomfortable or like the situation just kind of was like, like
I wouldn't say uncomfortable. It is a bit crazy, like at Manchester Arena when we just played that. That was like with the Kooks. When we went to the merch stand, we didn't. That was the first night of the tour, and we didn't know because we said it on the mic, but we didn't know if people would turn up and lose the space for the Kooks and all that stuff. But yeah, the queue was fucking massive. It went all the way around the concourse in the arena, and we couldn't get through them. The security had to because the Kooks were coming on. They had to stop like cut a certain amount, and then obviously everyone past that was a bit pissed off because we couldn't get chance, but we was like, it's not us, I promise we couldn't do it. So then everyone was like walking off shouting us. So that was a bit mad, but yeah, no, nothing uncomfortable, I wouldn't say.
yeah. I mean, obviously that's what you want, but you never know. And obviously, I guess, the bigger you guys get, that I'm sure that the opportunities are going to be more that could happen. But So,
Yeah.
let's get back to this. So you are playing Kendall Calling, which is a festival. Talk about that festival comparable to like, Glastonbury and Reading and Leeds.
Oh, Kendal Calling is a great festival in Kent. Well, it's Penrith actually. It was the first festival that we ever played. Like that was our first major festival as a band. Um, it's great. It's got a few stages. Got a great main stage. Always got a good lineup, and we played it maybe like 3 or 4 times now. We played the Woodland stage to kick off with, and then we went to a tent. And that was one of them moments where I think it was the second year we played it. I think it was like 2019 or something. They had to close the tent down because health and safety was like, there's too many fucking people in here. And we was like, how is this possible in Kendal at a festival where no one's really bought a ticket to see us? It's just like a festival ticket.
Yeah.
And they've had to shut the tent. So that was, yeah, that was great. And then obviously it led on to us having a great moment on stage at Kendal. Like it was a bit of a full circle moment because it was the first festival that we ever played, major festival we ever played, and then we got the number one on the day that we played it, however many years later. So that was like a proper full circle moment.
It's like the simulation is real, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So you guys have played Glastonbury. We talked about this before. Like my goal next year is to go to Glastonbury 2027. I've never been there. I've never been to Europe. My
really.
fear, well, not fear, I've always told myself the reason that I've not gone to Europe, right? Because I've gone out, I've gone to Mexico, I've gone to Canada, like I've gone outside of the States, right? Just never been to Europe because I know that when I go there, I'm not going to want to go home.
You'll fall in love with it and not go on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like because I'm a history buff, so like our history in this country is 250 years old. Like your
Yeah,
history is thousands of years old. Like,
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's just not even comparable. So like I know like when I go there next year, like I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm good here. Like I like kind
You
of like
should
New
come
York
and
for
you'll love
you,
it.
Kind of
You
like
should
New
come
York
with
City
me.
for you.
I know exactly, and it's all kind of close-ish. Like you can country hop and you can get around pretty easy, like trains or planes and stuff. It's you'll end up going there and then just going to loads of countries and never going home.
Yeah, like when I interviewed, I don't know, are you familiar with Finn Forster?
No, I don't.
Singer-songwriter from England.
Oh,
He's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he's awesome. But anyway, I met him at South by, actually at the British Music Embassy last
yeah,
year, and so he was telling me that, man, you can take a train from London and be in Paris in like two
yeah,
hours. Like that's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
insane. Like,
I know we did it on the last tour, and then you can carry on like and go through to different countries from there. So yeah, definitely,
it's
it's
crazy.
great.
So, I mean, yeah, what has been your favorite city to play? Like, do you have a favorite city that in Europe that you've
Paris.
played?
Rotterdam was great. Rotterdam was unreal. Paris is always good. Like when we go to Paris,
Yeah.
Madrid was probably the last place that I felt like I didn't want to go home. Yeah, they're all really good. Like around Europe, and like I just said, you can get to so many different places so easy.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, Mr. Ryan, thank you so much for doing this. Best of luck. You guys have a pretty packed schedule for the summer. Tell the audience what do you got going on for the tour.
Yeah, we've got what have we got? We've got Neighbourhood Weekend coming up. We've got Isle of Wight Festival, which we can't wait to be back at Isle of Wight. We absolutely love Isle of Wight. And then we've got two big headline shows: Castlefield Ball in Manchester and Halifax Peace Hall. And then we've got a bunch of festivals like Chuck Fest, Transmit. Yeah, a bunch of festivals. So we'll just be working through them, and then maybe looking at something after summer in overseas. So we're just working on that in a minute.
Well, hopefully it'll be the States and not Australia or anything
I hope
else.
so
So
too.
we'll cross our fingers.
Yeah, I hope so, mate. Hopefully, it won't be long till we're back. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, obviously, like the audience at New Colossus was definitely into you, so you definitely have a an audience here in the States. So.
Oh, amazing. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Well, again, thank you so much for doing this. Best of luck. Best of luck to the band. Tell everybody how to find you guys on socials and your website.
Yeah, it's just the K's and then the K's UK, K's official on all the social media handles. So we're on like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. So it's not Twitter anymore, it's X in it. Facebook, and we've got our website, the K's.band. All the live dates and upcoming exciting things are on them platforms. So yeah, check it out.
Sweet. Well, again, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like and follow. Check out our sponsors, our social media, our YouTube channel. And as always, I've been Dogg. You've been great. This is the Music Lab Podcast.